boss from London, England, coming to you with a post Reggae Girlz exit special. Once again, I encourage you to like, share and subscribe, whether on the rerun or live from London, England. Let me give you thanks for supporting Rich Post Sports, and even more so for supporting the Reggae Girlz themselves. An historic back-to-back World Cup campaign has seen them shine in Australia and New Zealand, coming out of a group featuring France, featuring Brazil and Panama. One win, 2 draws was more than enough for the Reggae Girlz to create more history into the last 16 knockout stages, where they succumbed 1-0 to Colombia. Now this, viewers and subscribers, where it gets tricky, because I'm shooting from the hip and the lip. As you know, I'm not beating about the bush whilst being diplomatic. The Reggae Girlz had it in their hands, simply, I say simply, to win the game against Colombia. It was a case of knockout or be knocked out. The one goal was sufficient for the Colombians. It was a 50-50 game in the Reason Boss's view, and as the game unfolded, this became more and more apparent. My lord, apologies, I've got some washing going on in the background. But my goodness me, there's been so many thoughts going through my mind. My lord. This was, and it's a harsh reality, one of the poorest games in the last 16, featuring Colombia and Jamaica. It was a very scrappy looking affair. Were both teams nervous? Quite possibly. But this was a chance to shine, to show your worth. Van Santen came in, Chaina Matthews took a back seat. We had Bunny Shaw playing not in her role for Manchester City. If the Reggae Girlz want to bring the very best of the flavour of their game to the party for future endeavours, they've got the likes of Canada for an Olympic qualification berth coming up later in the year. I strongly believe that the Reggae Girlz will need to deploy the likes of a Bunny Shaw in her most effective role. She is one of the premier strikers in world football. In the Women's Super League for Manchester City, she's a totemic focal point where she can make the decisive difference. I found it a pity to see Tiffany Cameron coming off the bench. Could have been a starter, but these are the choices. Trudy Carter got the starting berth. She did not live up to billing. She was a player I saw as the X Factor when I first joined Crystal Davis of Talawa TV. I wish a speedy recovery for Crystal, and hats off to all the coverage that Crystal of Talawa TV has provided for these Reggae Girlz. What a venture, what an adventure it's been. But it's interesting, if we see where we want to go with the Reggae Girlz, if the Reggae Girlz themselves want to excel even further, they will have to make the tough decisions. I see so much potentials in the Reggae Girlz, and with new additions, maybe this is the way forward in order to grow, to get that attacking quality coming through in its full flavour. Tiffany Cameron came on as a substitute and providing the cutting edge when 1-0 down, a 51st minute goal, giving the Colombians a lead. Viva, my good friends in Colombia. Joanna, Yanef, I salute Paula, Juan David, my lord. Humble but passionate football and human beings. If we had to succumb to Colombia, that's the way it goes. But Tiffany Cameron offered a cutting edge, going wide, beating her defender, her opponent, and providing a sumptuous cross for the incoming, onrushing Drew Spence. I always believe that decisive moments was going to be the key for the Reggae Girlz campaign and for many of the teams out here. The best teams in the World Cup, the likes of Spain, Japan, Sweden, but my Japan and Spain, they offer enough chances through players who know what they're about, know their roles and positions, attacking and defensive wise, and they can create the opportunities, and through those opportunities, taking just a handful of the clear-cut chances can be the absolute decisive points in a game. Jamaica simply created far too few chances in the game. And when that moment came, a wonderful piece of play by Tiffany Cameron, you were just asking yourself, if only they could have done that more often. Get somebody wide, left or right, to beat a defender and then cut a ball across inside the penalty area, high ball along the ground, and having some dynamic midfielders, hungry enough, fitness-wise, with the stamina to make those runs into the penalty box. And when Drew Spence got ahead to that ball, headed it into the ground, fizzed away past the keeper, it looked as though it was heading into the net. Unfortunately, it went wide. And that's all she wrote. Of course, there was a Jody Brown potential chance hitting the crossbar, that melee. It was a case of what might have been. The Colombians were nervous, but they improved far more in the second half than Jamaica did. And going forward again, I am encouraging the Reggae Girlz to rewind, come again, because the future is bright. But it was an opportunity, we could say, potentially missed, and yet I need to acknowledge, as the washing machine calls time, so too will the reason boss. I've got to acknowledge what an emotional and hugely heart-warming, gut-wrenchingly fantastic ride this has been, from defeating the likes of the Dominican Republic 4-0 in Jamaica, through to making the World Cup via the group of death, featuring the likes of America and Mexico and Haiti. The Jamaican Reggae Girlz have done us proud. They've done themselves proud in order to move forward. Just like all the best teams in the world in different sports. The All Blacks in rugby union are embarking in September on in the World Cup. They've had to acknowledge that they are good, but they can be better. They can be better. They can see other teams for further details. Where do they need to strengthen? Do so if possible. I'm imploring the Reggae Girlz to do likewise. Like, share and subscribe. And again, full salutes to the Reggae Girlz. Let's build upon what we have. Of course, we know that there are external factors, namely the likes of the JFF, that need to pull their weight. I implore them to do just that. London, England calling. Like, share and subscribe. Again, salutes to the Reggae Girlz. You've come so far and you can go further. Peace, love and respect. Share the video and give a strength to Rich Post Sports. Peace, one love.